What's up, guys? It's Tasha V, and I just decided to do this video impromptu, coming to you as raw as I possibly can right now. And it's only to tell you that I challenge you to let go of depression in 2017. I challenge you to live life and live life abundantly. I challenge you to say F to depression and yes to your future. Be optimistic about what your abilities are and what you can possibly do in this world. I want to challenge you to be happy. I want to challenge you to accept every flaw that you have about yourself. I want to challenge you to accept every failure that you made in life and move on from it. I want to challenge you not to wallow in your sorrows every day about what you have not accomplished or who doesn't like you or what you've been waiting for but have yet to get. I want to challenge you to do something that you've never done before. I want to challenge you to put your best foot forward every single day. And the only way that you know that you're putting your best foot forward is that if you don't give up. I challenge you to trust God with everything. And I know some of you don't believe in God, but I do. And here's why. Literally almost 4 or 5 months ago, I was sucking with depression. Manic depression, clinical depression, I don't know what you call it, whatever it is that you want to kill yourself every 5 seconds, whatever that is. I was laying in bed in a relationship that I wasn't happy with. I was ashamed of the things that I've done in my life over the past year. I was ashamed of myself. I was ashamed of the mistakes I've made. I was ashamed of the just things that I had done. I was ashamed of myself. I was upset that I had no progress in life. I was looking at everyone and it seemed like everyone was just so much farther than me in life. It seemed like I was such a good person, but people were always moving ahead of me. It always seemed like I was always doing my best, but it was always being overlooked and I was just tired. And I remember laying in bed, visioning me holding a gun to my head. And the vision was so real that when I pulled the trigger in my dreams, I woke up physically and ran out of bed. 3 days before that happened, I cut all my hair off. I had a psychotic breakdown. And I was just ready to die. I did not want to live. I didn't feel like I could ever be better. I didn't feel that God loved me anymore. I didn't feel that I could move forward from where my past was. I didn't feel that I was loved or accepted. I didn't feel that people would welcome me with their arms open if they knew who I really was, if they knew how much of a failure I was. And I was just ready to die. But I fell on my knees. And I asked God to save me because at that moment, the depression was so strong on me that I don't even think that I had to kill myself. I just felt my soul leaving my body. And I fell to my knees and I asked God, I promise you, if you take this out of me, I will live my life for you. Because my reasons for living are non-existent. God says that his joy is your strength. The joy of the Lord is your strength. What that means is that his thoughts towards you are good and not of evil. That means that he knows your future. If his thoughts are good for you, that means that he sees no harm, that he sees no detrimental end to your existence. He sees happiness. He sees you living your life abundantly. So therefore, all his thoughts towards you are good. And that his joy for your future should be your strength. Even if you don't have joy, even if you don't have optimism, even if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, he does. And that joy that he has for you is your strength. Because he is Alpha and Omega. He is the beginning and the end. He is creator. He is Lord of Lords. He says that neither is his hand short that he cannot save you. He is a God from the north, east, south, and the west. He knows all. And the Bible says that neither death nor demons can separate his love for you. So the fact that his joy and his belief and his thoughts for you are so good and not of evil, and they are filled with joy, should be reason enough for you to live and fight depression. And that night when I laid down and I gave my life back to God, it was tough. I cried. And I screamed and I yelled and I was in a psychosis. I was saying things that made no sense, but all I kept saying was Jesus, 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 Jesus. And I broke. My eyes were swelled with tears. They were red. My contacts were burning. But when I fell on my knees and I gave my life back to God, I felt my lungs opening. I breathed. Depression can feel like being in the ocean with no lifeguard, no safety guards, and that your body just doesn't resist gravity. It just goes down and it swallows your lungs. It takes your breath away. And I challenge you to breathe. I challenge you to take a deep breath and just breathe. In the book of Job, it's a scripture in Job, and he says that all the while your breath is in my nostrils, I will breathe your name. The oxygen that we breathe, every day is the existence of God. It is the first breath that he made into life to make existence to it. We were dust, we were dry, we were bones, but when he breathed, there was life. So every time I exhale and inhale, I am breathing in life daily. And I dare you to breathe. I dare you to let go of depression. I dare you to live. I dare you to trust God. 4 months ago, I was unhappy. 4 months ago, I had no reason to live. At least I thought. 4 months ago, I was ashamed of myself and the things that I had done to my body. The things I had done to my self-esteem. 4 months ago, I was unhappy. 4 months ago, I felt like a failure. I had no college degree. I let go of many of my friendships. And people knew my past. I felt like people would just hate me or think I was some type of loser. I felt so badly about myself just 4 months ago. And depression is something I've dealt with all my entire life. But when I just gave it to God, when I just gave it to God and I gave my life to him, he gave me a new life. He helped me breathe. And now I only live for him. Now, I've just done one of my first documentaries. I launched my brand. I forgave myself for the things that I had done to my body. I forgave myself. I have a great job now. I'll be producing a play in a couple of months, one that I wrote myself. There's so many things that I thought that I would never reach in depression. And now I have. And it's because I gave my life to Christ. I trusted him. And listen, my job is not to convince you of the doctrine of Jesus Christ or God, but to encourage you to try to experience him. The night that I wanted to kill myself, or that I felt like life was slipping from me, it was God that saved me. That was an experience. That's an experience that I would never be able to express fully, that I won't be able to articulate. But I know I felt him. I know I felt a weight on me that felt like an embrace. I know I felt him put his hands on my chest and open my lungs again to breathe. And every day I I commit my life to him again. Because that feeling of his embrace, I would never want to leave me again. It is so peaceful. And it is all things that is good. Everything that is kind. Everything that is lovely. Everything of good report is God. That's what I feel every day. And I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I'm so much at peace. I can go to sleep and just be at peace. I don't hear voices. I don't have bad dreams anymore. I'm not attacked in my sleep. I sleep peacefully. I wake up happy. So I want to challenge you to let go of depression. Like, really. I want to challenge you to trust God. I want to challenge you to submit your mind, body, and soul to him every day. And listen, depression is a journey. Every day I wake up, every day in between hours at night, I resubmit my mind back to him because I know that's what the enemy wants to take from me. I lay my hands on my head and I give it to God. God, you have my mind. Let your will be my will. Let your ways be my ways. Let your thoughts be my thoughts. And that is a prayer that I pray every day. So I challenge you to love yourself fiercely. I challenge you to forgive yourself. I challenge you to be okay with where you are. I challenge you to do that. Even if you're not where you want or who you want to be with, I challenge you to just be okay right now. I challenge you to pick up a hobby. I challenge you to read a book. I challenge you to take yourself to the movies. I challenge you to write a song. I challenge you to write a poem. I challenge you to just love life. Find something that you can be optimistic about today. Find something. There is always something. The word says to meditate on these things. Everything that is good, everything that is lovely, everything that is kind, everything that is godly, everything that is of good report. Meditate on those things. And be committed to the process of being healed and being set free. Edify yourself. Encourage yourself. And resubmit to God daily. Because he loves you. And he wants you to be happy. He wants you to be free. He wants you to be optimistic about life. There's so many things I'm so happy about. And like I said, guys, just 4 or 5 months ago, I was ready to give up. I was ready to throw in the towel. So I challenge you to do that. Another thing that I do is what I have over here on my wall. And I guess I can show you guys. Just give me a moment. I got my coffee too. There's something on my wall. I have this little board, just a really small board, and I write things that I'm asking God for. And it's helped me tremendously. I've been doing it for the past 3 months now. And when I tell you that every month I look at that wall and I'm able to see what God has done for me, I'm able to check things off like, oh wow, God did do that for me. Okay, God did handle that for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give you guys just a little bit of how it looks, because it doesn't have to be perfect. So just give me 1 second. I'll be able to see it, but it's just that things I'm asking God for, and I look at that every day. I pray over it, and sometimes I do forget to look at it, but I go back to it within a month and I see that God has turned my situation around. And if you are battling with depression, I don't know how close this is to my face. Let me zoom out. So if you are battling depression one thing that is important to do is write down your objectives, things that you want to see out of your life, obtainable goals, short-term goals. Write them, get a board like that and write them down. I'm asking God for emotional stability. I'm asking God to improve my finances. I'm asking God for me to be okay being single in this time, or I'm asking God to help me in my marriage. I'm asking God to give me clarity on decisions that I need to make in life. And you make those things plain and concise. They could be abbreviated, but write down what you're asking God for. And that way we're not meditating on things that are only going to cause us pain, strife, and bitterness. Once again, the word says to meditate on these things, everything that is good. Your emotional stability is a good thing. You wanted to have clarity about some decisions that you need to make in life. That's a good thing. You wanted to be happy in your marriage. That's a good thing. You wanted to be confident in being single and being okay with that and not becoming depressed about it. That's a good thing. You want to travel next year. That's a good thing to meditate on. You want to start a business. That's a good thing to meditate on. Meditate on those things and pray about them, and you'll begin to see God make a change. But you got to trust him. You got to love him. And one thing that I wrote a couple of weeks ago about depression says that I have nothing to live for, and God says, live for me. Love you guys. Stay cute. Peace. What it's supposed to do, that's what I mean by stable. It's not perfect, but a stable individual is good. Okay, they're not driving you crazy. They're not driving themselves crazy.